Every person is developing throughout their lives, and every person needs support for that development. I don't think anybody is equipped to do all the personal development on their own without any help. So when a person is born, obviously they're born into a family, and hopefully the parent feels accountable and feels responsible for that person and sees that that person develops to their full potential during that period. After they leave the home, who is responsible for that person? And an argument can be made, well, I'm personally responsible for me, but again, everybody needs support and they need help. So what if, when someone is hired into a business, that business takes responsibility for the continued development of that person? That needs to be a strategic decision to take that responsibility for that person at the highest level in the organizations. Once a business takes responsibility for personal development of their employees, a lot of wonderful things can happen. Maybe it's not the norm. I think it is the norm in more businesses than people think, and it can do wonderful things for that business. So who would benefit from a business taking responsibility for the development of their employees? First of all, the employees, obviously. They grow, they thrive, they learn, they become more responsible, maybe as a parent, maybe as a friend, certainly as an employee, as a coworker, as a supplier to their customer, the interpersonal interactions they learn. And the families benefit. Maybe a person didn't have a formal education, but they learned that that's important, and they encourage their children to have a formal education. So it can have a generational effect on not only the person themselves and their children, but hopefully generations beyond that. The community benefits, because if someone is becoming more productive, more responsible, maybe they're earning more, they're paying more taxes, they're less likely to be a social burden on the community. The company they're working for becomes more productive because their employees are more engaged. The business itself benefits because the employees are loyal, they're emotionally attached, they are learning, they're happy, and that carries over to their productivity and carries over to how they carry themselves with anybody they work with. So all the stakeholders that they're in contact with, whether they're customers, suppliers, they all benefit. And the irony of it is, if a company invests in people, it costs money, sure, but the top line and the bottom line grow faster than if they weren't doing that. So investing in people is an expense in a sense, but you get paid back for it many times over in growth and in bottom line profit. If a company is investing in their people, they typically will also encourage them to pursue formal education, and they will enroll them in college, and like at STOBER we have tuition reimbursement. So the educational institutions in the community, they benefit by getting closer to industry, which is what they need to do anyway, and they're teaching the things that are going to actually benefit that person in terms of return on investment through your career, through the education. Government benefits because as people become more mature, more responsible, more productive, more educated, obviously they pay more taxes because they're employed at a higher level. And again, the likelihood that they're going to be a tax burden through social programs goes down. And we found at STOBER, once we started our apprenticeship program, that government was bending over backwards to give us incentives to continue building that program, because they knew, hey, this is good for government overall also. The benefit to churches and charities of companies investing in their people is also there, because churches and charities tend to help people that are, that are really in need. Churches and charities spend about $400 million on donations, and that's about 2% of our GDP, and that's great. It's philanthropic, it's a wonderful thing, but it really shouldn't be necessary. They should be putting their effort and their means into the spiritual part. If I invest in my employees, make them more successful, even if they leave my company one day, they're stronger. That's that collective mentality. And I think as a nation, we're trying to find that balance between, yes, it's up to the individual, I have to work hard to be successful, but also as a collective group of employees, as a community, we have to help and grow and support each other. How can we collectively be more successful, and how can we include everybody in the American dream versus just the white male that has all the advantages? I just appeal to business owners, business leaders, regardless of the size of your business, make that part of your culture. Make people development a cornerstone, make it a people-first culture, and start an apprenticeship program or start some sort of learning program that gives people an opportunity to learn and grow. You'll be amazed at what it does for your culture and ultimately the success of your business.